Hello, Gina and Ashley and Armenia, and it's lovely to see your backdrops and think about Cancun and think about all the lovely destinations that Hilton All Inclusive is in as I look out my window and look at another Toronto snowstorm. I would just shake our heads, so sad. But we're going to do more than talk about Hilton today. We're also going to talk about Hilton serving the groups market and weddings. So Ashley, you want to tell us a little bit about some of the properties that specialize in that area, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Nina, thanks so much for that. And great to be back on here with Open Jaw. Yeah, so the four properties we'll be really kind of focused on today will be the Hilton Cancun, the Hilton Tulum Riviera Maya, Hilton Vallarta Riviera, and then our newly featured hotel, the one that just opened a few months ago, the Hilton Cancun Mar Caribe, which we are really proud to talk about for a moment. So that will be the focal point, but I'm also joined by my amazing colleague, Gina Johnson here, who is the head of our weddings and celebrations. So she'll have plenty to share in regards to that too.
So when you talk about those properties, what is it about the properties that make them more geared towards weddings and groups?
Well, we've really refined a lot of our group's policies and things. Great partners here at ACV, and we've got a lot of support from them. And I know they've got some fantastic tools that have been improving by the days, right? So we're really interested in not only featuring them, but also a lot of the great venues that we have at these properties. The fact that many of them are well equipped to handle, plan Bs, backups, and things like that, or the fact that they're just in these wonderful, breathtaking spaces, whether it be right on the beaches of the hotel zone of Cancun, like our new Cancun Mar Caribe, or whether it's the spacious environment where social groups of all shapes and sizes can really kind of stretch out and separate themselves at Hilton Tulum Riviera Maya. Each one of them has distinctly different personalities, but they're all just really great fits for our social groups and new social group programs.
Now, you mentioned the new tools that Air Canada Vacations has to offer. So then I have to segue to Armenia on the InstaQuote tool for groups. So
Mm-hmm.
I know there's been a bit of onboarding, shall we say, in terms of that product, but now it's working seamlessly, correct?
We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
It's helped tremendously versus the manual versus, of course, automation, and we're getting a lot of take in it. Training is required. We're out there. We're excited, like partners, like, of course, Hilton, just easily right in there, go in, request your group space. But yeah, fully launched and something that's just so much easier than ever before.
I'm sure the advisors are very, very pleased to hear that because groups is big business. Weddings are enormous business. It's spring. I would imagine that's the season. So Gina, talk to us about weddings.
Yeah, thank you, Nina, and thank you guys for inviting me to join today. And we're talking about my passion, which is weddings and really social groups of any type. But for weddings specifically, as Ashley said, our hotels have some amazing venues, whether they be beachfront terraces or lawn areas or gazebos. We just have some really fantastic venues. And our teams, our on-property teams, they really make the difference because they're the ones that are making the magic happen on property. And so I just want to give a shout out to them. And then we've really tried to streamline the process. So we have 4 wedding packages. They're the same at every single Hilton all-inclusive. So once you know them, you can sell any of our properties. And we have the lead-in package, which is our signature package, which is just a beautiful ceremony and a cocktail reception afterwards. Our devotion package is more what you see within traditionally all-inclusive, where it has a ceremony, a 1-hour cocktail, 3-hour reception.
Nice.
But when we were building these packages, we noticed that couples were adding in the same enhancements every time. So instead of having to do it a la carte, we built a package that encompasses all of that. It's called our cherished package. And it includes all the traditional items, the ceremony, 1-hour cocktail, but now it's a 4-hour reception instead of 3. It includes a DJ, a dance floor, fountain fireworks at the end of the evening. It includes a get ready room. It includes a rehearsal dinner, hour and a half rehearsal dinner. So all those little things that couples are looking for nowadays, we've put it in the package. And then our last package, the only difference between Cherish and the last package, which is Cherish Captured, is it includes photography. I personally think photography is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give couples the option.
Makes sense. Now, I'm so curious, how big are the groups lately for weddings? What's your
They're
average
getting
size?
bigger. I'm glad you asked that because all of our packages include 30 people.
Okay.
So we're seeing groups starting at around 30, but we're seeing groups of 50, 60 rooms. So
Wow.
yeah, it's the weddings are bigger now than they were before. So we're leaning into that and really making sure that we're accommodating those larger groups.
It's so interesting because years ago, I remember there was a bit of pushback by friends and relatives thinking, I don't necessarily want to go away that week. Why don't people have their weddings, in town or whatever? But now I think it's just par for the course, right? People almost expect that the wedding will happen in a beautiful location with sun and sand and beach and palm trees. It just seems so romantic. And I think it's become a lot more sophisticated in terms of the services provided, which brings me to a question, Gina. You have a lot of competition in this area of weddings, certainly in the Mayan Riviera. How do you compete?
Well, I think our packages, number one, are on-property teams, but definitely Hilton brings 100 years of hospitality
Yeah.
into this, into all-inclusive and into weddings. So our teams, our catering and events teams, the food is amazing. The events are fantastic. It really is just next level. And I think that that's really what sets us apart from everybody else is that 100 years of experience to back
Yeah.
us up.
And if I
Yeah.
might add too, really, it's encompassing even more than just weddings these days, right? I make the joke a lot of times, and every time I'm on a flight to any of our destinations, it's loaded with people wearing shirts celebrating like their 43rd birthday party. I mean, the
Right.
amount of different social groups and things that we see going down to the destinations has become ever increasingly popular, and it's still a social group, right? So in many ways, it functions without even necessarily a lot of the other legwork and over planning of events. It's really just the fact that people were replacing things, tangible things and gifts and whatnot with experiences, right? They want to travel in larger numbers. Multi-generational trips are really big for us as well. So there's just so many different segments to the market, and it's ever growing. So the opportunities really are endless.
Now you have a number of properties along that coastline in the Mayan Riviera. You just mentioned there's a new one that opened, and there's new ways to get there. So Armenia, you have now flights starting to Tulum, which is hugely convenient, right, for people who want to go to that end of the peninsula. But there's also the train that has started from the Cancun airport right into Playa. So there's so many ways to get there that can really cut back on the time and the convenience. So Armenia, talk about Tulum flights.
Well, we're so excited, and Ashley and Gina, you should be so excited because it gives the clients the options of kind of knowing where are these properties in between. Sometimes it could be 20 minutes away, sometimes you're an hour and a half away, and we're the
Right.
first to go into Tulum. We've received so much praise over it for sure, and we're educating the trade to kind of understand which properties would be, because some could be right in the middle as well. So the beginning of May, we've got our direct flights out of Toronto, out of course, Montreal. We're very, very excited with it. We're seeing those flights fill up easily. And of course, across the board, don't ever forget our connectors that we have. There's over 60 in Canada. So we can get these clients across Canada to your properties very, very easily now. So yeah, stand by. It's coming up very shortly.
I have a stupid question for you, Armenia, because I should probably know the answer to it. Now, when you have a group that size, 60 people who, they're flying from probably all across Canada, but a lot might be flying from one gateway because the friends are in that gateway. Is it fairly easy to accommodate them all on the one flight? There's enough frequency, there's enough capacity.
Well, yeah, for sure. Out of Toronto right now, we're looking at up to 2 flights a week. And of course, with anything new, but that is really, really promising. So you could do things like your shorter stays as well. And in Montreal, there is one direct flight right now, but
You're talking about
absolutely.
Tulum, though, just Tulum right now.
Just Tulum right now
Yeah.
that we're talking about, right? Cancun, of course, the daily flights, it's crazy across Canada. So in most cases, but yes, Tulum for sure. We've got the 2 flights that will be during the week at peak times, of course, and then Montreal one. So we do have variety and we have options.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, I'm going to, before I let you go, Ashley, I just want to ask you, everyone wants to know about a new property, and it's always a great reason to call up your clients, say, hey, I have something new to tell you about. So give us a little bit more on the new property.
Right. So thank you so much for that opportunity. It's the Hilton Cancun Mar Caribe, which actually just joined our portfolio a few months ago. It is right in the heart of the hotel zone of downtown Cancun, and we're on one of those picturesque white sand
Oh,
beaches nearby some of the more, I would say there's really not a bad view in the house because we also have great
mhm,
views looking out over our restaurants to the sunsets along the lagoon. Almost
right.
all of the rooms are facing directly out to the ocean front. And we also have our new enclave section, which is something we've been growing over the last year or so, which is
Right.
really like an enhanced experience level for guests. And those guests are going to get access to not only the room categories that are right in the beachfront areas of the building, but their own exclusive lounge. We're really, really proud of this resort. And it's our re-entry as Hilton of a brand in a decade or more into the Cancun hotel zone, which if anyone hasn't been there recently, take advantage of all these great flights from our partners at Air Canada Vacations and get down there to see it.
It's a very good suggestion. I like that. I like closing on that. Thank you, everyone, so much. And I look forward to a fantastic spring and summer season for all of you because, you know, things have been going so well. We're going to assume they're going to keep going even better, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.